What is going on, guys? Welcome to this early edition of the Nerd Crew Podcast. This is episode 30 of the Nerd Crew Podcast. We are so glad that you guys are back. I am your man, Andy York. Thank you guys so much for listening to us, whether it's on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play, or if you are joining us live on our YouTube channel every Tuesday, normally at 7 p.m. Central Time, but today we are doing it a little early because of scheduling conflicts and things like that. So we're glad that you're here. We're glad that you're with us. I didn't think of one, so I'm going to come up with one on the fly, so this will be fun. As always, I am joined by the one and only, I'm going to use the one I was going to use last week, the garbage can to my Oscar.
Yes.
Yeah, that works. Jason Lee. Jason, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. It's a little earlier in the day than usual, so that's kind of nice, and I'm not falling asleep for sure, so that'll be good.
Just fighting a headache?
Yeah, just fighting a headache.
So. But yeah, we're glad that you guys are back. It has been a fun week for us. We have a lot of Endgame stuff we're going to talk about. We have a lot of DC news. Actually, I think both are good. I think both things are good in retrospect.
Yeah, probably.
So we'll jump into all of that here in a few minutes. We'll jump into that pretty quickly. But I didn't ask you this before, so I don't know if you're ready for this or not. But Jason, do you know what you're into this week, or do you want me to go first?
How about you take it away?
All right, what I'm into this week is actually something that we both are working on. We're getting ready to start soon. We're not going to go into detail what it is yet. We kind of want to make it a surprise. We're going to hold off a little bit. But we are working on something very cool heading into Endgame. A lot of different videos, not just live streams. We're not just into live streaming. We're going to do a lot of pre-recorded videos about a lot of stuff. So make sure you pay attention to that. I'm working on the first script for it now. So it'll be a lot of fun editing it. I'm very excited to edit it because I have all the pieces already together. I just have to film it and then go for it. So, but I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, that's what I'm into this week. What are you into this week?
So I just recently got back onto a big Halo kick. I've been playing a lot of Halo 3 and Halo Reach. I was over at my parents' house a couple times and we were playing Halo over there, and I was just reminded of how much time I poured into those two games especially.
Yeah.
3 and Reach, and I really just love them a whole lot, and I was playing them a lot today. Also, I mentioned The Office last week, and me and my wife finished Season 9. We finished the whole series.
Oh, yeah.
And as I said, I've already seen most of it, not all of it. I already seen the finale, but it was for her first time seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always really cool to show somebody that for the first time, because it's amazing finale. It's
one of my, actually no, I think it is my favorite show of all time. Well, it's up there. It's up there.
You want to zoom in a little bit more to not get the window?
Yeah.
We can try.
I'll just zoom in and over. We'll just
or
show
you can zoom in away from me.
We'll just show you our lovely door. How about that?
Yes.
Try to get to where I can get the poster and the Funko Pops all the same. You can see the poster. That's fine. That works. That's better. But yeah, so it's in my top 5 favorite shows. I have a lot of favorite shows, but it's definitely in my top 5.
Totally. Up with Iron Fist.
And Inhumans. Don't forget Inhumans.
Yeah.
Don't watch that show. I've already talked about that. Don't watch that show. It hurts. So yeah, that's one of my favorite shows. I'm actually going to probably start watching it again here pretty soon. So yeah, that's what we are into this week. But we have some DC news we're going to take care of first. We're going to talk about first. Mm-hmm. The first thing we're going to talk about is Ray Fisher. That's his name, right?
Yep.
Ray Fisher, who plays Cyborg in the critically acclaimed, Oscar-winning,
universally loved
Justice League movie, is not renewing his contract to come back to the DCEU.
I can't imagine why.
I believe everybody's contract is coming up. For the most part, I think Gal Gadot is going to re-sign. Jason Momoa is going to re-sign. Ezra Miller is going to re-sign.
If he's still around at that point.
Yeah. But then, we also have the news of, Henry Cavill's like, nope, I'm done. I almost said Ben Stiller. That's not his name. Why am I blanking on his name now?
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, thank you. I should have thought.
Ben Stiller is fine, too.
Ben Stiller would make a good Batman.
Yeah.
Better than Ben Affleck.
Maybe.
He at least has personality.
I'd like to see it.
So yeah, Ben Affleck is not renewing his contract, and now Ray Fisher is joining them by not renewing his contract. So is this good? Is this bad? Is it whatever at this point? What do you think? as you take a massive drink of Coke. By the way, it's Coke this week,
not orange vanilla Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I became a sheep.
By the way,
one of the sheeple.
I know you don't watch basketball, but orange vanilla Coke is like the sponsor for March Madness.
Mm-hmm.
And I have seen that stupid commercial like 1,000 times now, to where I despise orange vanilla Coke.
I don't know what commercial you're talking about because I just don't watch cable or sports. But
yeah, you're lucky. Don't. It's going to be the death of me at some point.
Oh,
Anyways,
no.
go ahead. What do you think about this?
No, I think it's good. I think the more that they do away with the Zack Snyder universe, the better.
Yeah.
And the more people kind of disengage from that, the better. Which channels kind of into our next segment. DC has better things going on than the Justice League.
Yes.
Like Aquaman. Aquaman isn't great,
but it's a step up.
It's totally a step up from Justice League, and it's not super far removed, but it's reasonably removed from Zack Snyder's universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you have actors who aren't engaged in the roles that they're playing, which I'm sure that Ray Fisher was just totally all in on this amazing character. But if you have actors who aren't engaged and don't have like that collaborative spirit, then it's not really going to go anywhere.
It'll fall apart.
Like Marvel had with Edward Norton.
Yeah.
In the first Hulk movie that they made, they felt like he didn't really have the same collaborative spirit. I don't know if that's more mistakes on their end or mistakes on his end. I don't know if we'll ever know that, but
I think we kind of have a guess.
That's part of the reason they ended up letting him go from that.
Yeah.
So I mean, great.
Yeah.
Great. I don't see Ray Fisher as like some great cyborg. I don't really see 95% of the DC actors as like, oh, that's totally someone who I would want to stay in the role forever.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it a few times. I think for me, Jason Momoa fits Aquaman.
Yeah,
he's for me, he fits, and then Gal Gadot is starting to fit Wonder Woman for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I never remember her name. She plays Harley Quinn.
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie is like the perfect. To me, she's like the perfect Harley Quinn. She was the best part of Suicide Squad.
Hopefully in Birds of Prey and in Suicide Squad.
Yeah. She'll be able to do more.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like with Ray Fisher, with him, I think in Justice League you could tell he didn't really care to be there.
I don't think anybody cared about him.
No, I didn't. I forgot he was even in the movie. Like, I forgot Cyborg was even in Justice League.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people cared more about Hawkeye walking away from Avengers easily than Cyborg and Justice League.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because they tried to they had a lineup of 6 characters, and Cyborg was definitely the Hawkeye of the group, to where it's like, kind of, why is this guy here?
Yeah.
The only thing that people remember about Cyborg and Justice League is "Booyah" at the end, which I don't even know if you remember that, but he says it, and it's really like,
The cartoon was so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was. This isn't really. I don't really necessarily think this is a bad thing. I think at this point, DC could keep all their movies that they have and just recast Superman, Batman. I wouldn't even honestly put Cyborg in it. You know, you don't really need I would put in Green Lantern before I'd put in Cyborg. Make a good Green Lantern, by the way, please. But to me, like, it's one of those things again where this is perfect example of DC has rushed everything to this point.
Yeah.
Aquaman didn't feel like it rushed. Like, Aquaman felt like it was at the perfect time. Shazam, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes, the same way. I feel the same way about it as I do Aquaman. But like, the Justice League movie came out way too quick, way too soon. No backstory as to why Cyborg was even there. Basically his origin story was in the movie, and it's like, that doesn't make me care about him at all. You know, like, it doesn't. It worked with Scarlet Witch and with Quicksilver in Age of Ultron, because that, like, how they got their powers is what the Avengers were going after. That works. That makes total sense.
And you already had characters in that movie who you already knew who
and were invested in. Right.
Yes.
With Justice League,
that's a sequel too.
The only that's true. The only character really we could have been invested in was Superman. I mean, we weren't really
Wonder Woman. and Superman.
Her movie, yeah, Wonder Woman and Superman. But like those are the only because like Batman had only been in one movie, and don't get started on not even to call it a bad movie is an understatement. And then like Superman was in Man of Steel, which is like it's okay. Like I have to go back. I haven't watched it in forever, but it's okay. And then Batman v Superman was like, no, that's crap. But then like Justice League, so those are the only two characters that you really care about.
Right.
But they don't use them. Like Superman was dead for half the movie.
Right.
Wonder Woman should have been in Bruce Wayne's shoes, and Bruce Wayne should have been in Wonder Woman's shoes, but it didn't make sense. Like it was just that the whole movie just kind of fell apart. The only person I actually kind of liked in that movie was Jason Momoa, and that's just because he didn't do anything, but yet he was still there.
Yeah. Everyone in that movie was Hawkeye.
Yes. Oh yeah. Except maybe one.
I like Hawkeye.
Except maybe like Wonder Woman. Maybe I think she was the only silver lining of that movie.
I don't know. I feel like her character regressed from where she was in her own movie.
I'll agree with that.
She really did.
At the beginning of the movie, I liked her, and then like by the end, I was like, I just want all these characters to die. Just let Steppenwolf win. Please just let Steppenwolf win.
Right, and then he'll die.
Yeah, and then he'll die. And then Thanos just comes out of nowhere and beats him up, and then it's been a Marvel movie all along.
Yeah.
No, it's I don't know. It's just a weird situation over at DC, which I feel like the only thing I would say is like it's kind of happening at a bad time because DC has actually had two good movies back to back, like one passable, one good, which for DC is a win. But like I don't know. It feels like all these like people quitting on them now is like, well, we're just gonna have to scrap everything, even though like they're going on the right track like right now. That's the only downside I could see of it, but I don't want Ray Fisher back.
I think it's a really painful transformation that they're undergoing right now, but I think it's working. I think it's positive. I think that Justice League is going to be the turning point for them that Man of Steel should have been, or the BVS should have been.
Yeah. Justice
League is finally where they're really kicking themselves and they're like, this is not working. This tentpole film in our franchise made $600 million around the world because nobody cares about any of the characters.
Yeah.
So they're kind of going back to basics a little bit. They're taking more from Marvel, which was never the problem, but it can't hurt.
Right. If it's working for them, it surely should work for you. Yeah. You know? So speaking of Zack Snyder, though, we didn't really talk about this a whole lot, but he was at a conference or a convention. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Over the last few days, and somebody asked him a question about Batman killing in, was it BVS? Yeah, Batman killing in BVS. And basically, he just, I'm not going to say everything he said because I can't do that, but he was
basically just like, get over it.
Get over it. Wake up. Batman kills people. And I was like, no. Like, no. I saw somebody tweet. I was like, that's like saying, yeah, get over it. Captain America is committing genocide now. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
That's basically everything that's wrong with Zack Snyder. And this is really the only thing I want to say about this is that, because I just hate talking about it and I wish this guy would just stop talking. But it's something that goes directly against the essence of his character.
Yeah.
It's one of the most fundamental aspects of Batman's character. And it's something that he changes, not in service to the narrative, just to have it there.
Yeah.
And then he's like, come on, guys. Like, you know, you're just a bunch of idiots. You don't even understand the movie. And it's like, no, it's not in service of the narrative. It's not in service of anything. You're making a comic book adaptation, missing the fundamental essence of the character, and then just like chastising everybody else for being like, oh, well, you know, I guess you just didn't understand my art. If it was something that's well put together, you know, then I can excuse that.
Right.
But it's something that's just a terrible, terrible piece of media. A terrible piece of art, and it's just like, it's not being a rebel, and it's not being artistic to just fundamentally, because Christopher Nolan didn't have Batman kill people. I'm not trying to say like, oh, well, he didn't do it, but he didn't change the essence of who Batman was, even though that movie was radically different. From the comic books. And that's really where you have to go.
But at least he adapted something, like some stuff from the comic books.
Right.
Like, and when you're doing a superhero movie from a comic book, like especially especially as popular as Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Like before the last 6-7 years, Batman and Superman were like the top tier of superheroes. Now, after their crappy franchise and crappy movies, they're they're probably below Hawkeye to some people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and when Batman has always, he's been around since the
30s.
30s.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, his character, his whole thing is he's not going to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just a hero that he's going to get justice, and justice doesn't mean killing.
Mm-hmm.
That's his whole character.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to come into this movie and just completely like, nope, he's just going to shoot people now. Like, that's not, that you can't do that. Then you just can't say, well, get over it because that's all. No, like, people are going to call you out on your bull crap. Mm-hmm. And that's what it is. It's like, you're full of it. Zack Snyder, I don't think, has ever directed a good movie. I have to go back and look at the movies he's directed.
300 people like 300.
Okay, 300 is good, but like that's because he had like freedom to do whatever he wanted. Like this, he should have followed the narrative to where it's not like, I don't know.
He has a responsibility to the character, and you're just changing things for no reason.
Right.
If you're changing it in service to a larger narrative, if you're changing it in service to an actual artistic decision, of which there are none in BVS,
yeah,
then okay. Like if Christopher Nolan had changed it to where, maybe Bruce Wayne kills somebody, maybe he kills people. He kind of inadvertently kills people in that movie, like Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins.
Yeah. But it wasn't his intent,
right? But it's in the service of this story, of this artistically compelling story. And you actually know who the character is.
Right.
That's a big part of it, is you have to understand who the character is. But Zack Snyder's like, my Batman's different, than the ones that you've seen before. And I'm just going to show it in this patently obvious, he just shoots people.
Yeah.
There's this rule in film called show, don't tell.
Yeah.
And instead of like putting something right in front of somebody, you have to have nuance. You have to have a character that you're building off of.
Yeah.
And there's just so many things wrong with him saying that. The thing is that he's out of a job now, and he's out of the franchise, and he can just say whatever he wants to say.
Right.
And, the movies are already out there, and that's why I don't really care to talk about it that much. But that was just a really dumb and confusing thing, I think.
He, basically, I can tell you what that was, is he was being irrelevant and trying to bring himself back in the limelight, and it backfired on him quickly.
Yeah.
So that's that. But we'll end on a high note for DC. We had the opportunity through Fandango. Thank you, Fandango, even though you're not a sponsor. You can sponsor us if you'd like. We'd love that. But we had the opportunity to see Shazam 2 weeks early, so we saw it this past Saturday here at my local theater. And surprisingly, at the end of the movie, we looked at each other and went, "Holy cow! Did we just enjoy a DC movie?" Like
it was good.
It was good. Like we're not going to give spoilers. This is just kind of like this is all I'm saying. Go see the movie. I would say go see the movie. Support this movie because it's a fun movie. And by the way, just because when we say it's a fun movie, fun doesn't mean bad. It can be good and fun at the same time.
It's not a must-see either.
Right.
But if you want to see maybe the best DC movie since The Dark Knight,
yeah,
then go see it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's a lot of fun. The actors, you can tell, are all having fun. It's the first DC villain that I actually enjoyed, like for the most part.
Yeah, he was serviceable.
He's better than Steppenwolf and
of course.
And
he was like Yellow Jacket level.
Yeah, which for DC is top.
He was
tier.
like bad Marvel villain level.
Yeah, which is good.
Which is way above bad DC villain level.
Yes. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. What would you give it out of 10?
I gave it a 7.
7? Yeah, that's what I would say about a 7. Which we gave Aquaman like a 6.
Oh, a 5 for me.
Yeah, I think I gave like a 6. And then Wonder Woman was like a 5 for me, which is like a 3 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then BVS was like a 0.5 for me. I think that's what I said.
It's a 2.
And then Justice League was like a...
That's a 0. That's a solid 0.
Solid 0. So yeah, it was... I would say if you have any interest at all in seeing this movie, go watch it.
My DC movie scale is different from my MCU scale because my MCU scale is like if it's a 7.5, then it's good.
Yeah.
Then it lived up to expectations and it's good. And it's like Doctor Strange is a 7.5, Iron Man 3 is a 7.5. What else is there? Ant-Man is either a 7.5 or just above it.
I think you gave Captain Marvel like a 7?
Captain Marvel is like a 6 or a 6.5 for me. So it didn't quite live up. But my DC scale
5 or higher is good.
is a 5. And if it's a 5, then it's a solid DC movie. Aquaman is a 5 or a very light 5, like a 4.5. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess that's good enough. And then Shazam was like a 7. So it's like, nice.
It's up there.
For a DC movie, nice. I am impressed.
Yeah, I would, I don't know, I would say it's better than, to me, and I may get shot for this, it's better than like Ant-Man the Wasp.
Totally.
It's
Shazam,
for
totally.
me, it's like a lower tier, like lower middle tier of the MCU.
I think it's better than plenty of more. I think it was better than Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
I think it's
like, for me, it's like Iron Man 2 level, but like not as bad. Like,
I liked it better than Captain Marvel. I might have liked it better than Black Panther, which I know you and me feel very differently about Black Panther. I liked it better than Thor, better than Iron Man 2.
It's not as good as Thor: The Dark World, though.
Oh, obvious. So good.
No, Shazam is not out yet. We got to see it 2 weeks early. It comes out April 5th. So not this Friday, but next Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you can go check it out in your theater.
Because we're insiders.
We're good. So yeah, it was. We both had a good time. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And
it was funny. Like, it was funny too, and it wasn't like forced funny. Like, it was actual humor in the DC movie.
Some of it was forced, but some of it was legitimately funny. And I was like, funny DC movie? What the heck? Because Aquaman wasn't funny.
Yeah.
Aquaman, I didn't laugh at like anything except for just the dumb stuff. I'm really glad because with the MCU lately, out of the past like 4 movies they've put out, Infinity War is the only one that I've walked away going like, I was impressed by that.
Yeah.
That like met expectations. That surpassed my expectations.
Since when?
Black Panther.
Would you say Infinity War was the first one since when? Or ever?
Like no. For the past like 4 movies, Black Panther, not quite what I expected. Captain Marvel, not what I expected. Ant-Man and the Wasp, definitely not what I expected.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Infinity War surpassed expectations. And then, of course, DC hasn't made a movie that surpassed expectations for me since The Dark Knight.
Well, see, for me, Aquaman kind of surpassed expectations, but that's just because my expectations were, like, extremely low.
Mm-hmm.
Like, extremely low. But I would agree, like, Shazam was, like, exceeded my expectation. Like, it impressed me because it was, like, not only is this better than what I thought, it's actually a good movie. Like, right. It's actually a good movie. You know,
we're being really positive about it, and it's a very flawed movie. It's not a masterpiece. It's not an all-time great superhero movie or even all-time great DC movie with a really like far history that they have.
Right.
But it's good, and it's like I'm so happy to be able to say that about them.
Yeah.
Star Wars hasn't been impressing me recently.
Yeah.
Harry Potter has with Grindelwald.
I wouldn't know.
So all of these major franchises are kind of on thin ice. Other than the MCU, I feel like they're going to rebound really quick from kind of the iffy phase that they're in right now. But DC coming in with a winner.
Yep.
Good movie.
I will say this. It probably will be... Obviously, Endgame is going to be the best, for us, the best movie of 2019. But to me, like, Shazam could be like the surprise of the year for me. Like...
Yeah.
Like, one that I was like, it's not that, like, it's not like the best thing I've ever seen, but it's like, it exceeded every expectation I had, you know? So that's, I'm, like I said, like we both said, it was very impressive to us. Mm-hmm. To where if they wanted, I'm all in for a Shazam 2. Like, do a Shazam 2.
Speaking of which, I don't think I told you this already. You know how they're coming out with The Trench, which we've already talked about before Aquaman 2.
Yeah.
Guess which movie they're coming out with before Shazam 2 will ever come out or never come out?
Is it something from Shazam?
Black Adam with
The
Rock.
You told me. Yeah.
Black Adam with The Rock. That's a movie they've wanted to make for so long. Probably never going to happen.
That movie will do extremely well in box office just for one reason. Because it's The Rock. Because it's The Rock. It could literally be a movie where you just say The Rock is going to stand there for 2 hours and do nothing, and it would make a crap ton of money just because it's The Rock.
They could have put The Rock in like Vice as like George W. Bush, and that movie would have made a ton of money. They can put The Rock in any role they want to.
Yeah.
They could have put him in. What am I thinking of? You put him in an MCU movie, and it's automatically going to make more. They'll make him show up in Endgame.
If you'd have made
a living tribunal.
If you would have made The Rock Nick Fury, it would have been bad.
That's a painful thought.
But you would have made it like. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely adore Samuel L. Jackson. There is no Nick Fury without Samuel. In fact, like he is like even in the like modern day comics when you see Nick Fury,
he was the model of the character when they created him.
Yeah, it's like Ryan Reynolds with Deadpool. Like those two guys are like that's who they are. So like I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you put him in there, or even if you put him at like I don't know, you could have made him the villain in Ant-Man. As like he could have been the Yellow Jacket, and it would have worked.
Yeah. I don't know.
But it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked. I didn't mean it would have worked, but like it would have made a crap ton of money.
I'm not a big fan of The Rock acting.
It literally depends on the movie for me.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I love Fast and Furious. So like I loved him in that. But then like we went and saw the new Jumanji movie with him in it.
Yeah,
and it was.
I've heard people liked that. I've only seen like 10 minutes of it.
It's good. Like it's not bad. I hated the first Jumanji movie. Like
with Robin Williams.
I love Robin Williams. Don't get me wrong, but I watched that movie so many freaking times as a kid. Like it was always on that I just grew to not like the first time I watched it, I loved it, but then after that, it's one of those of like I could never watch this movie again in my life and be totally happy with it.
You know what movie is that for me? Is Cars.
Really?
Oh my gosh, I've seen Cars like 150 times.
I love it.
It is
I
like
love
not
Cars.
The whole thing, of course. My youngest brother, who is now in the chat, used to come home from school every single day and put on Cars. And I don't think it's bad. And if I rewatched it again now, I mean, I'd probably get PTSD, but also, PTSD. It's fine. It's definitely not a top tier Pixar movie.
No,
but
that's
fine.
That needs to be an episode, by the way, too. Top tier
Cars.
Pixar movie.
Yeah,
top tier Pixar movie.
Pixar much better. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was.
Spoilers. Incredibles is the top.
I don't know, man. I love Toy Story so much. Mm. Like Toy Story is up there for me, and Monsters Inc. Like there's just. I don't know. That's a list. That we'll have to do that for an episode.
Cars 2, number 1. So good.
WALL-E, number 1. Was that Pixar? That was Pixar. WALL-E was Pixar.
Oh yeah, WALL-E's amazing.
There's like no dialogue in it at all.
Eva.
So I forgot what we were talking about. What were we talking about before this?
Plant.
Shazam? Were we talking about Shazam?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we were talking about The Rock. Yeah. So
I hope we moved on from The Rock, but go ahead.
Yeah. No. Yeah. But so if they do a Black Adam movie, it'll make a lot of money just because of The Rock. But who knows? At this point, who knows? Like.
It's never going to come out.
I can almost guarantee you we're not going to get a Trench movie.
No.
I can almost guarantee you we're not going to get a Black Adam movie yet. Shazam 2 I could see happening. Aquaman 2 needs... I think both of those could happen.
What DC is trying to do is they're trying to build little universes around each one of their characters, which is something that I understand. If they had done that from the beginning... and kind of like not focused on team ups or like synergy throughout the universe, not made a Black Adam movie or something like that.
Yeah.
But just kind of kept Shazam or Green Lantern or Wonder Woman in their own like independent things and then come together with Justice League, maybe like 7 or 8 movies down the line.
Right.
And really like build off the individuality of each character. That's what the Justice League was in the first place in the comics. They weren't created as a team. They were created... as like a bunch of separate characters coming together.
Right.
The Avengers were created as a team. All those characters debuted in Avengers number 1, other than Captain America. So, they have a different energy to them. They have a different reason to exist. Totally. So I can see them doing that. Don't make the trench. And don't make Black Adam try to expand those characters' universes.
I'm totally fine with Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't want to say I'm excited for it, but like there is somewhat of an interest with that
in the context of a better universe. Then yes, I'd be totally fine with that.
And like even the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie. Like I'm actually very excited to see that movie.
Yeah.
Because all the stuff I've seen of it has like been very impressive for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's a movie that could really, really work. Don't bring Jared Leto. Please don't bring. Like I know he's supposed to be in the Suicide. I think he's in the Suicide Squad.
No, I think he's out.
Is he?
Yeah, I totally think he's out.
Oh thank God. Are they going to do a Joker in that movie?
I don't know.
I don't think you need listen.
You really don't need the Joker.
It's like Uncle Ben. Like yes, we all know Harley Quinn and Joker are together. Mm-hmm. We don't need to see the Joker.
No.
Like and
it doesn't need to be
this is coming from a guy that is like my favorite villain of all time is the Joker. If I could be a bad guy, I would be the Joker.
Right.
But like I don't want to see him, and I don't want to say, and I know it's the cop out, but like nobody will ever be better than Heath Ledger, like because it's true. Like I don't know if anybody that could realistically, especially like the feel that DC was going for, could do a good Joker.
Then be different than Heath Ledger.
Right.
Would be the response to that. But Jared Leto was different in like
the worst ways.
Wrong ways.
Because like everybody used to say that like Jack Nicklaus was the best Joker, and like he is a really good Joker for that that style. But then like Heath Ledger comes in and does a much darker, grittier version of the Joker, and it worked. The Joker in The Dark Knight fit that entire mold of the movie so well.
Just because you have creative directors.
Yeah.
You had Tim Burton, who knew exactly what he wanted for the Joker with Jack Nicholson, and it was perfect.
Yep.
And you had Christopher Nolan, who knew exactly what he wanted with the Joker, and that was perfect.
Yep. And
then you have David Ayer, who has no idea what he's doing with any character.
Yep. And
Jared Leto, and it's just awful.
Yeah, anyways, so yeah, DC is on the right steps right now with the last two movies. Let's just hope that they can continuously go in the right direction. When Shazam does come out not this next episode, but the episode after that. So like not today, not next week, but the week after that, I believe, will be our Shazam review. We'll do a whole spoiler and everything else when that movie comes out. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it was good.
Yeah,
that's all I wanted to say.
About 7 out of 10. It was solid. It was impressive. A lot of fun. So if you have any interest at all, go check out that movie. But that is not the main movie that we're talking about today, because boys and girls, we are 1 month away from Avengers Endgame to the day, and I want it now. Like I want
5 years in the waiting.
Yes.
All of this was announced in 2014, and ever since then, this is really. I mean, I've waited for all of these movies.
Yeah.
A lot of them have lived up and surpassed expectations, and they've been amazing. And so is Infinity War, but like
this is the moment. This is the moment.
Yeah.
Because like there was a lot of anticipation for Infinity War. Like a lot of like especially this time last year, there was a lot of anticipation for Infinity War. But I feel like after watching Infinity War and the events that took place in Infinity War to what we are like to where we are now, I feel like the hype and the anticipation is even surpassed that. Mm-hmm. Now I have seen, and like you said, I think I follow a lot of idiots on Twitter. But I have seen a lot of people like, I don't even know if I'm going to see this movie because the hype, like they're not releasing anything about it. And it's like
we have a word for that, and it's called a contrarian.
Yeah.
And nobody likes a contrarian. Just saying things that are not popular opinions just to be like, oh, well, I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who cares? Random Twitter user. If you're not going to go see Avengers Endgame, it's going to make $2.5 billion, probably.
And I can almost promise you, like 100 of that is going to be from my own pocket.
Right, and the answer to that is yes, you are going to go see it.
Yes, oh yeah, you will. Here's the thing, like I think everybody knows that we are both extremely hyped for this movie. I didn't want to look past Captain Marvel to get to this. Like, I wanted to enjoy Captain Marvel. It's come out for like 2 weeks now. 3 is this weekend? Is its third weekend out or fourth? Third. It's already at $900 million, so it's going to hit $1 billion.
Yeah. Which I am excited about.
I'm very excited for.
You know, we already talked about Captain Marvel.
Yeah. So now that we're finally here at like Avengers Endgame like season, like it. Yeah. Man, I like the anticipation I have for this movie is unreal.
I'm gonna send you the character posters real quick. I'm gonna send you the image with all of them in it.
Okay.
Both of those. I don't know if you're able to put them up if I send them to Messenger.
I should be able to.
Okay.
So yeah, but this what he's getting ready to show you. We saw I believe Marvel Studios tweeted out first, and then the Russo brothers tweeted out like the same time or whatever. Or no, each individual character tweeted out, and then like they all sent it together. But we're getting ready to show you. So if I lose connection for a second, just chill out. I'll be back in a second. Each individual character though sent out a link or like a picture of their character. Let's see if we can get it to load. Give me a second, folks. Jason, why don't you entertain?
Oh, yes, of course. Wow, what to say?
Talk about Endgame.
What to say? Endgame. It's the conclusion to a 22-film saga put out by Marvel Studios.
22. That's ridiculous. That's
22 movies. One of the most important things happening in my life at the moment.
It's the most. The most. Don't say one of. It's the most.
So it's currently the most important thing happening right now, and we're only a month away.
Forget school, forget work. It's all about.
Back in 2014, when this was announced, we were both still in high school, and yes. I remember computer lab with our computer teacher, who I have very fond memories of, being on my Mac, which I hated.
Don't hate Macs.
And
don't say that because this Mac will just crap out.
Scrolling through news, and what's known as the 2014 event came up, and Kevin Feige was announcing all of the new projects that they were coming out with back when Inhumans was going to be a thing. That movie, which would have
became a TV show,
been better than the show.
I don't know about that.
Without a doubt.
I don't know about that. I think it would have been bad either
because
way.
The Inhumans could have worked. I think that you could put them on the screen.
Yeah.
I think especially after Eternals comes out, and if that's really good, then it'll be like, yeah, Inhumans could have worked. But yeah, and then they announced Civil War, and they started putting out promotional stuff for Civil War.
By the way, I went back and watched Kevin Feige at San Diego Comic-Con when he announced the Civil War title. Because like the original title was like Captain America. It was something weird.
Serpent Society.
Yeah, and he was like, that doesn't really fit, does it? And then like this, like everything went dark, and then it just popped up Civil War, and it was like, oh crap, we're going here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, Serpent Society. That would not have been a satisfying conclusion to the Captain America trilogy.
No, it would not have.
To go from fighting Nazis in World War
II. The Russo brothers would have made it work, but maybe.
Doubtful.
Maybe.
Possible though.
I have faith.
I don't know how much hype there would possibly be for Serpent Society. That'd be very strange, and it's also weird because I don't even think they're Captain America villains. And it's also weird because like Cottonmouth and Diamondback were in Luke Cage, which was interesting.
Anyways, I'll show most of it.
Okay.
So here's, or maybe I won't. We'll do the these ones first. So the posters they tweeted out was those who are still alive, and then those who are dead or snapped away.
Right.
So we got some. Yes. So we got some indications as to characters we didn't know before, or we didn't know their whereabouts. So the first.
I think there's only one actually who we didn't know.
Sure.
Hmm.
Well, they kind of gave it away in the trailer too.
A little bit, but they were looking at Ant-Man on the screen too.
That's true.
So I think it was missing people and not dead people.
So we have obviously. Spider-Man, Shuri, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, Vision. I didn't realize that was. I couldn't tell that for a second.
We got a guy here.
Yeah, the Wasp, Groot, Gamora, Drax, Bucky, Falcon, Nick Fury, Loki, Mantis, and Star-Lord. Unfortunately,
So people who straight up died too. I mean, not that the snap wasn't straight up dying,
Right.
but people who died outside of that
before
as well.
the snap, yeah, was
It's,
so the ones who died before the snap were Gamora, Loki, Vision, and Heimdall.
who was not included because
not
they had
included.
to perfectly balance it.
And then also not included is Maria Hill,
Oh yeah.
who was snapped away. Here's the bottom half of that
So
picture.
sad.
And then we'll kind of just make the other one work. And then the next one that they show is all those who are still alive, but they don't. It's not gonna let me pull it up. That's fine. We'll just list it. But what they did is those who are dead obviously are black and white, and then those who are still alive they put in color. And so those who are still alive are Cap, Tony, Black Widow, who has red hair in this picture.
Yeah. Much better.
Yes. Thor, Hawkeye, Captain Marvel, Ant-Man, your boy.
My boy.
Mark Ruffalo. Hulk.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, Okoye, Nebula, Valkyrie, which is awesome that they
Yes.
included her. Benedict Wong, which is cool that they included him. Rocket, I almost said Don Cheadle. War Machine, and then Pepper Potts and Happy. So those two that were not really, we didn't really know their whereabouts. We didn't really know if they were still alive or not. They are still confirmed to be alive. So
I'm excited about Valkyrie
I am too.
being included in this, and I hope that she has a decent sized role because we've only ever seen her in Ragnarok.
Yeah, I want to see her and Captain Marvel team up.
She's one of my favorite things about Ragnarok. I was talking to my brother the other day, and it's like a lot of people want them to put Thor in the Guardians of the Galaxy after Endgame, and I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I don't really think that would work. But if they put Valkyrie in the Guardians of the Galaxy, if she doesn't have somewhere else to go,
Yes.
oh my god!
Because I think like the feeling that me and you both have is that Thor will live after Endgame. By the way,
at this point,
but
yes.
hang on, time out. If you don't want to know anything, if we are even remotely close to being right, so spoiler warning, sort of,
kind of.
if we're even close to right. Well, these are all predictions. But if you don't want to go in, if you want to go in knowing absolutely nothing, more power to you. I don't blame you, but
I mean, honestly, we know nothing.
we know nothing. These are all guesses.
Yeah.
But we both think that Thor theoretically survives, and that he is going to build Asgard in Norway, in that spot of land where Hela popped up and where Odin died.
Mm-hmm.
So that leaves it wide open for Thor to come back at any time if he needed to, if he wanted to.
And I don't think I think there's a very small chance of them making Thor 4, even with the demand and even with Taika Waititi being on board now.
Right.
Because they've had a pretty rigid structure. And they had Iron Man 1, 2, and 3. They had Captain America 1, 2, and 3. And now they have Thor 1, 2, and 3. And I don't see them really continuing that. I do hope they bring Taika Waititi back. And if Thor survives, I hope he pops up in different places. Because he's really an integral Marvel character, and I can see why they're keeping him around.
Especially if they do like the Illuminati, he could be a part of it to where like he doesn't have to show up in every. He doesn't even have to show up in every major movie. He can show up when he's really needed to show up.
Or if they did the Infinity Watch, they could give him a stone.
Yeah,
definitely, because he's powerful enough to protect it for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, I would totally love if Valkyrie went along with the Guardians of the Galaxy. By the way, I forgot to mention this to you. So you know, and spoilers if you haven't seen Captain Marvel. So when they did the flashback to Carol and Monica,
yep, I've heard
with
about this.
the shooting star,
Mm-hmm.
the time kind of fits to where that could have been Yondu's ship taking Peter Quill. Which, if that's the case, that is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also hear about in the Guardians 1, or is it 1 or 2, where Peter Quill talks about he hooked up with a Kree girl, and she totally messed up his neck or something like that. What if that's Captain Marvel? And so when they see each other again, it's like that connection.
Highly unlikely.
But
that is hilarious. That's hilarious. I had heard about the first one, but not the second one.
Yeah, no, I love the fact that
I'm
they
totally
kind
on
of throw
board
in,
with the first one.
Yeah.
For sure.
I love that they throw these little those little details in. That's
I
really
don't
cool.
see Captain Marvel hooking up with Peter Quill.
I don't either.
I think that would be very out of character.
That would be. But he did say that she was like super.
Stabbed him with a fork.
Was it a fork? Yeah, that was a fork.
Or something.
What he meant by that is like she hit him with a binary blast.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was just a good little tidbit. I thought it was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what other? So some of the theories that I've heard, and I want to kind of get your take on it, is what if? Because we've only seen from all the trailers, we've only seen the first about 15 minutes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And everything we've seen has been everybody looking all depressed and sad and moping around, everything else. What if after, like in the first 15 minutes, if they go to New Titan or Titan 2 or whatever it's called, and they try to take out Thanos, what if they lose somebody in the first 15 minutes, that somebody ends up dying? Like some big character that they don't, I don't know, not Ant-Man, because and what I mean by die is they don't stay dead necessarily, because if they go back in time or whatever, it kind of takes everything away. But what if they did lose somebody like a War Machine or like a Captain Marvel? I don't think she'll die. Or like I'm trying to think of who else is still around.
I don't think that's likely, and here's why. I think that if they go to fight Thanos early on, I think that if anyone's going to die in that encounter, it's going to be Thanos. And I don't think that they're going to permanently kill Thanos for the movie. What if they get there and he's already dead? Or if they get there and he's already dead, in quotation marks, because we've already seen he can manipulate things with the Reality Stone in Infinity War.
Do the stones still work though after the snap?
That's a good question. He
Or the
did use
gauntlet.
the Space Stone. He did use the Space Stone right after. So if the stones still work, I don't think that casting a Reality Stone thing would be that difficult to do.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a lower level power from the gauntlet. But yeah, what if they get there and they just wreck him? And then they have to figure out what to do, and then he comes back later a whole lot stronger. Or as a past version of himself. I think it's just going to be completely crazy, and that's all.
What if he comes
just off
back?
the top of my head, I think the only hero that I could see potentially dying there is, or I totally think she'll get wrecked, but Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Because she's brand new, and she's kind of got the appeal of being brand new, and also she's super strong. And the Russos want to establish how powerful Thanos is, and in the first few minutes of Infinity War, he wrecked the Hulk.
Yeah.
So seeing him ragdoll Captain Marvel would be
one. It would get all the
awesome.
Captain Marvel haters on board, but then right at the very end, if they pulled the rug out and she did the killing blow, I would love that so much.
I would hate it and love it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think they'll do the same thing. I think we've kind of already talked about this. I think that Captain Marvel. We know in her movie, she tore through everybody. She didn't really have a massive, there wasn't a close call or a moment where she got knocked down a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I do think in Infinity War, I do think Thanos will wreck, not kill her, but I think she will get probably the worst beating she's ever got.
Oh, totally. No, and the Russos absolutely know how to do that from Winter Soldier.
Yep.
They drive their heroes into the ground.
Yeah. Poor Cap.
Physically,
Cap after
psychologically.
Cap halfway through Winter Soldier, I was just oh my gosh, dude! He's been beaten and torn up and everything
his
else.
best friend is a Nazi super soldier.
And then the next movie, he's got to pick between two friends, and it's just
no, and that's what I love about the Russo brothers is they just drive their characters. They put them completely through the ringer. Thor right now. Is
when he started
everything.
listing off in Infinity War everything he's lost. It's just
wow,
because they were well, do he said my brother. He was my brother died and my father died. He was well, do you got a mom stabbed by or killed by a dark elf? You got any friends stabbed through the heart? And it was just oh my gosh, really he has had every movie somebody he loved has gotten wrecked.
Yes.
And
that's the thing.
And the worst part was Jane wasn't one of them.
People talk about the long-term storytelling that Marvel has right now, and they talk about how, these characters don't sustain that many losses, and things don't change from the status quo all that often, especially during, like, Phase 2 with Age of Ultron and stuff. Things didn't change all that much for these characters. Even though, like, in the final installations of their trilogies, and especially in Infinity War, it's like they lost so much stuff. Tony lost his arc reactor, Thor lost his hammer, Cap lost his shield, and now they all lost all of their friends in Infinity War.
Hulk didn't even come out.
Yeah. You have to think that it's like, when Thor lost his mom in Thor the Dark World, everyone was like, okay, whatever. But that loss is permanent.
Yeah.
The wins that they have when they win against Ultron or when they win against Loki or whatever, they won, they saved the day, but then there's always something bad that comes back to happen, and the losses that they have along the way are permanent.
Right.
And in Infinity War, you get there, and it really adds up, like everything that everyone has lost on this long journey. So maybe some of the individual movies, like Thor the Dark World, don't really present things like that in the best way, and they don't make them that interesting, but like the long-term storytelling, everything that they lose along the journey stays lost. You know, you don't get those things back unless it's Loki.
Yeah, and he dies 3 or 4 times and then keeps coming back.
Right.
So there's a lot going to happen in this movie though. Like it's going to be crazy. It has been sort of confirmed, sort of not. They've been really weird with about the time of this movie, the runtime. Last I saw, it is supposed to be like 3 hours and 2 minutes long.
I saw that too.
I saw somebody say 3 hours of movie, 2 minutes of just a black screen just for us to cry and be emotional about, just to recollect ourselves and then drive home. Which I can see that happening.
It's got to be black screen, white text. The Avengers will not return.
That would be so sad.
They're not going to do that.
I bet
you they do the Avengers will return.
What if at the very end it was like Captain America will not return, Iron Man will not return, Black Widow will not return?
I think if they do that, it's going to be hopeful. If they do, because I love when they do like blank character will return.
Like after Infinity War, when it said Thanos will return, I was like, that is awesome.
It totally
is.
That
is awesome.
If they did the thing that, what was I just thinking? The thing that's most likely. The Avengers will return. Yeah. What if they did just like Captain Marvel will return?
Yeah.
And that's the only one that they did.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
So
maybe they do Thanos will not return.
Sorry. Oh. So I was going to say something else. I don't remember what it
was. Maybe they'll do Thanos will not return.
Maybe.
If he dies.
We don't know.
I hope so too.
Keep Thanos alive. So the one other thing I was going to talk about before we kind of call this a wrap. What if? So the rumor is right now, or the thing is that they're not going to release a Spider-Man Far From Home trailer until Endgame comes out, due to the new trailer having some Endgame spoilers in it. What if the beginning of the movie for Far From Home is Peter at Tony's funeral?
That'd be a little rough. That would be the harshest opening since Infinity War, since Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I think that's unlikely. I think if Tony's got a funeral or if Cap's got a funeral, it'll happen at the end of Endgame.
Well, what if it does happen at the end of Endgame, but then like Far From Home picks it back up, like at the very end of it, like the very end of the funeral.
Totally, I could see that.
And then how Peter has to deal with his mentor being gone.
Highly likely.
And then from there, just going through, and then Nick Fury shows it, things like that.
That'd be a really cool way to start that. I think.
Do you think not cool?
But yeah, but like
yeah, that'd be a great way to kind of tie it all together. Do you think that Spider-Man will get another mentor, or do you think that he goes on his own from here on out? And if he does, who could you see being his?
From what it seems right now for Far From Home, Nick Fury is less of his mentor than Tony Stark was.
Yeah.
He's more like working with or working for Nick Fury. And I can see that kind of progressing more and more as he's getting more like partners than he's getting like mentors.
Yeah.
Like he had with Tony Stark. And he's becoming more and more independent. somebody's suggestion for the third Spider-Man movie, probably totally not going to happen. But if the kind of mentor character was Ant-Man, and I was like,
that'd be cool.
Oh my gosh! Like if they were working together as like partners, like holy crap, that would be amazing. Not going to happen, cool. But it would be so cool.
That would be.
I forgot your initial question, by the way.
Oh, if he does, like, will he have a mentor, and if he does, who would it be?
Oh,
so you kind of answered it. No, the first person I thought of was Ant-Man. Like, nice. I think that would be really cool because they even made the joke like in Infinity War, like there's a Spider-Man and an Ant-Man. Yeah. Like, I think that's a little like that's a funny way to kind of bring it back around.
The insect guys.
The insect guys.
Yeah.
Well, even Thanos said, "You puny insect." When that was
insect.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you're right.
You know what a spider is? That's cool.
Yeah, he's cursed with knowledge. You gotta remember.
So I think it's like it's really cool. I do think one thing that might pop back up, which was like a huge deal for the trailer of Infinity War, that might pop up here in Endgame, is the scene where towards the end of the movie when Scarlet Witch is like destroying Vision, and Thanos is coming down to like try to do something with the gauntlet, and Cap is able to like hold him off.
Yeah.
I thought that was I thought that would kind of amount to something. It really didn't. So I'm that may do something this time. That may just show like that Cap's willpower is like stronger than Thanos's, or something like that. But I do think that would be really cool.
That'd be interesting.
If they brought
they've already gotten the hardest choices will require the strongest wills.
Yeah.
And that's something in Infinity War, Cap wasn't able to make the hardest choice of sacrificing Vision. So I can see, with Endgame, all of these characters are coming full circle. And the mistakes that they made in Infinity War, they're going to have to go past that.
And I think with this movie, we're going to see morals kind of go out the window for like Cap. And then because even they just released this thing on Twitter, Marvel Studios did, of like, it was it was Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and Chris Hemsworth talking about the movie, and Scarlett Johansson talking about the movie. And one thing that Chris Evans said that kind of like caught my attention, he said, not only are they challenged emotionally, but they're challenged with their morals as well. I was like, that's very interesting phrasing that you're using.
Right, because this is the first time since the first Avengers that they literally are avenging something.
Yeah.
Which is funny because it's the name of the entire franchise. And I don't expect them to have something for every movie.
But like Age of Ultron, they weren't avenging any.
No, they were just like fighting.
Yeah. And maybe like the end they were like avenging Quicksilver's death. Sort of. Kind of. No, because he died saving at the very end.
Yeah, and he sucks anyway, so it's okay.
Bring over Quicksilver from the X-Men, and then we'll call it.
Yeah.
That'd be so much better.
Bring over Evan Peters.
Yes.
But in Infinity War, they weren't really avenging anything either, which I can totally give that a pass. And same with Civil War.
Yeah.
But with Endgame, it's literally them avenging the death of half of the entire universe.
Which I'm fine with, like you said, with Infinity War, because the way I looked at Infinity War was the build-up to Endgame. So, like, the part one of this movie is like the reason, like creating the thing to avenge. Because like the first one, the first Avengers movie, like the Avengers part was so cool with Coulson's death. Like that, that was the best way you could have done it.
And you pissed off another guy.
Yeah,
his name was Phil.
Yeah, that was a really cool moment. But then like Age of Ultron, whatever. Civil War, I know it's like an Avenger movie, but I do feel like Cap was like the main premise of that movie anyway.
Totally. Yeah.
But Marvel movies don't have stakes. Anyways, that's a debate for another day.
Price is Right theme. Bum, 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 bum.
But no, like I really think like this is the biggest thing that they'll probably ever avenge.
Oh yeah.
Unless they do like
it's avenging people in their own life.
Yep.
And it's also avenging like this horrible thing that's
like
happened.
with Coulson. They kind of just met Coulson. Well. Most of them. Tony knew him for a while. And then Thor bumped into him in the first Thor movie. Cap didn't ever meet him until...
He did have the trading cards, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he met him on the plane. He was like, I watched you while you were sleeping.
Yeah. And then
while you were frozen.
Yeah.
From the ice.
But then, like, obviously Black Widow and Hawkeye probably knew him because they were part of S.H.I.E.L.D. But like they don't like the three main guys. Well, the four main guys. I forgot about Hulk. The four main guys like didn't know him, and so like they were just avenging some guy that died for him.
Tony did.
Well, yeah. So the three of them like didn't really know him, so they were just avenging a guy that died for him.
Yeah.
But this is like no, like Tony lost his like son. Like
yeah.
And let's see here. Cap lost his best friend.
Thor lost everything.
Hulk lost a lot of stuff. Like, well, Hulk
lost Betty. Oh no, so sad.
Betty.
Rocket lost Groot.
Okoye lost Black Panther.
Yeah. Wong lost Doctor Strange.
Yeah. So really, like Nebula lost Gamora. She lost.
And the Guardians, she was a lot closer with.
So it's just they're avenging a lot of stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
And so I really think like their morals are gonna be like, you know what, screw this. He killed off everybody. We're gonna go kill him. And so it's like, don't do it though. Like let him put him in like I would love it if they put him in like because I think in like the comics at one point he was put in like the Cancerverse or something like that. Or he was put in some universe where like it was like a prison universe. Mm-hmm. If they do like different things like that, they could put him somewhere and then like keep him there and not kill him, and then like you could break out or something at some point because I want Thanos to come back. Right. But I do feel like they're just like I feel like he has gone to a point now where like it won't feel justified unless they kill him.
Yeah,
to a point. It depending on what he does in Endgame. Like if he kills off a couple more Avengers in Endgame, then yeah, he deserves to. He'll probably die at the very end of it. Mm-hmm. But I do think like it's I don't know. It's a weird outline, but it's very exciting. I love the fact that we know some and we don't know anything at the same time.
Yeah,
like it's the best.
But a lot of what we do know is set up from other movies.
Yeah.
Things that we're just kind of inferring from other movies.
And then all of our ideas are probably like not even close to being right.
Yeah, no, with Infinity War I was totally wrong. For the most part.
Yeah, my thought for Infinity War was like he'll get like 3 stones and then the next movie is them like trying to stop him from getting the other 3 stones. And then like I was not right about that at all.
But I'm a lot happier with the way they did it.
What is very interesting though is that a report came out that the snap was supposed to happen, and at first, and a few years ago, like whenever they were first starting to like draft these 2 movies, the snap was supposed to happen at the beginning of Endgame, and not at the end of Infinity War, which I thought was, if you opened up a movie with the snap and half the people are going, I don't think the effect would have been the same as it was at the very end of Infinity War. Like leave that, I don't know, that might be the biggest cliffhanger of all time.
Maybe
I don't know.
It depends.
The Star Wars, the one with Solo
of
was
a
kind
massive
of a
pop culture franchise. Empire Strikes Back was probably another one.
Yeah,
with a big cliffhanger.
Yeah, but they only lost one character. They didn't lose half the universe.
Yeah, but it all depends on the type of story you're trying to tell.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. So, do you have any other thoughts or anything else that you would like to add about Avengers Endgame? The fact that we are 1 month out.
I mean, I think we'll be talking about it a whole lot more in the weeks to come.
We'll be talking about it for like a month.
Yeah.
And then another month after that.
Yeah.
And then probably a couple more after that. Yeah. And then this time next year, you know what movie we'll be talking about?
Avengers 5.
Avengers Endgame. So, actually, no, probably Eternals.
We'll be talking about Birds of Prey.
Yay. Eternals is supposed to come out next year, right? Or the year after?
Next year.
So, we'll be getting hyped for another movie, so that'll be a lot of fun. But I do think that's going to do it for this week's episode. There was not a whole lot to talk about except for Shazam and the new Endgame stuff, and we're a month out, so we obviously had to talk about Avengers Endgame.
Of course.
But yeah, so we are very excited. We do have some things coming up very, very soon, so check out for that. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Hit the little bell, the little notification bell, so every time we upload something or go live, you get notified, and they let you know when we're going to be there. If you're listening to this on our audio version, SoundCloud, iTunes, or Google Play, make sure you check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/thenerdcrew. We will be the Nerd Crew for like a month, about a month,
sure,
or around that time. We don't know yet.
We'll have to see. Yeah,
we're coming up with ideas. Well, we know what we're going to be called. It's just how we want to do it. But yeah, we are very excited. We have a lot of stuff coming up, so we appreciate you guys checking us out. We appreciate you guys listening to us. You can follow us on Twitter at the Nerd Crew Podcast. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Nerd Crew Podcast as well. You can follow me on Twitter at I'm Andy York. I'm sorry, it's March Madness, so you'll be seeing me tweet about Kentucky basketball a lot from that account. So if you don't like basketball, then follow me in a couple weeks. But yeah, we appreciate you guys listening so much, and we'll catch you guys next week.